and welcome to another episode of Karen About Wrestling. I'm your host, Karen the Intern, and we got an excellent show in store for you tonight. First, of course, we're going to talk about our live shows coming up, so make sure you get all your tickets and everything 365 Pro Wrestling at 365prowrestling.com. Don't forget to check out our sister shows, I'm At and Combat, right here on the 365 Pro Wrestling YouTube channel. And like and subscribe, leave a comment. We love all that stuff. And all right, so without further ado, I am going to get into our introduction for our guest for this evening. I'm so excited. Originally from Toronto, now living in Vancouver. He's a pro wrestler, he's a content creator. Without further ado, let me introduce you to Malik Melo. Hey.
Karen, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great on this Monday.
Excellent. I am so looking forward to chatting with you. We've chatted a few times at shows, but it's always so busy and chaotic. It's hard to have much of a conversation. So I'm really looking forward to getting to know you a little bit over the next half hour. So if that's cool with you.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Excellent. All right. So let's get right into it. So we'll start out with some wrestling questions, if that's cool. Tell me a little bit about your wrestling journey. How did you get started? What made you think you wanted to be a wrestler?
I mean, wrestling really, it was really the only thing that I wanted to do growing up. Like, I was the guy who was doing moves with his friends in the backfield during recess. I was the guy doing moves with his older brother in the living room. We put the couches together and try to do stuff without trying to break too many things. Um, I started in 2019 at what's now called the Lionsgate Dojo out in Surrey. And I was trained by Tony Baroni, Artemis Spencer, Nicole Matthews, Billy Swade, and Cat Power. And I worked my way through there until eventually to where I am now, getting past the pandemic, which was quite a long time. It was very much a hassle, obviously, but here we are today, as I am throughout Vancouver and the island and some parts of Alberta as well.
Nice. What parts of Alberta?
I've been to Calgary, I've been to Edmonton, I've been to Medicine Hat as well.
Nice. I'm from Calgary. That's why.
Okay then.
Right on.
It has snow already.
Oh, I don't like it. That's why I moved to the island. I had enough of minus 30 and a foot of snow on the ground. Enough of that. I'm over it. Now I'm hashtag Victoria soft. You know what I mean?
Definitely not a snow person. All
right. So you talked a little bit about training. So you said you trained at the Lionsgate Dojo. So was that the only school around? Did you pick that one specifically?
So it is the only school on the mainland, as far as I know, still when they started, and currently, yes. In terms of getting into it, though, wasn't really sure how to get into it at first. I was never really one set way of getting into a wrestling school. I happened to see an Instagram post mentioning a tryout when I was at the gym one time there, and I figured this probably is going to be the only way I'll be able to get into it. I saw one time there was a website that I can't remember the name of there that never really got updated, saying it's going to have tryouts soon, and it just never got updated. So if I didn't act upon it, I'd still be waiting, if anything, years later. So I went into this trial. I found the address. It was in Surrey, as I mentioned here. It was snow on the ground. This was in February of 2019, so snow on the ground. It was very cold that morning there. Get into this warehouse, one ring, no AC, or no heat rather. And I laced up my basketball shoes and went for it.
Amazing. What was your first, so what did they teach you first? Did they do some kind of trials? Did you have to do some physical, endurance tests or anything, or did they just start teaching you some stuff?
Well, there was a lot of cardio drills at the start. They do try to blow you up. They try to test your cardiovascular system. It's a very big thing in wrestling that you have to be able to have some sort of gas tank. You got to be able to go in the ring there. So was a lot of cardiovascular tests. There was a lot of um, physical drills. Say there was like endurance drills, dexterity drills. There were a lot of rolls as well. We did learn how to do some basic rolls. Later on in the tryouts, we had our first bumps, so we learned how to take a bump as well there. And then I ended the trial with a promo. So that was the first promo that I ever cut in front of a crowd, or like a few people that they were there. But I felt good with it. There was a lot of people that were in my trial. We had guys like Evan Rivers was in that tryout. The Illa Tribe, Coco Flash, and Gorilla Shug were in that tryout as well. There, Big Rig Jimmy Mitchell was in that tryout as well. So a lot of guys who are my contemporaries right now came from that tryout.
That's awesome. Yeah, I hear stories like that about the island too, with the Pro Wrestling Academy here, and like just a whole group of guys kind of came out together and are basically like the current group of wrestlers for the most part who are, tearing up the island right now, which is so cool. And it's so great that obviously being a wrestler, like that you get to travel around kind of from place to place as the opportunity presents itself to, so you mentioned like the island, the mainland, a little bit of Alberta. I think I read somewhere that you're originally from Toronto. Is that correct?
Yes, I am. I'm originally from Toronto, Ontario.
Yeah.
I was born out there. I moved out here with my family when I was still in elementary school, and then I actually landed in Richmond there. So I went to school there, high school, and then I went to college for a bit as well. I went to Langara College. I'm a college dropout, unfortunately, but it worked out for the best, anyways. So, yeah, I've been in BC ever since, and then I try to visit every from time to time to see family.
Nice, nice. So, of course, we have some 365 Pro Wrestling out there. So, if the opportunity presented itself, would you want to go wrestle in Ontario?
Absolutely. It is actually one of my current goals to wrestle in Ontario. I have not been yet to wrestle in Ontario, unfortunately. So that is definitely one I still need to check off the box there.
Okay, cool, cool. Well, I know some people. I'm just a lowly intern, but maybe I did meet Tex Alexis. I interviewed him a few weeks back. He's from 365. He's the commissioner or the GM actually out there.
Actually,
So
the cowboy hat. Yes.
yeah, exactly. You know the guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So who knows? Maybe we can make something happen for you to, be able to travel back to Ontario there. That'd be pretty cool.
Connections are
So
everything. Flight prices are another thing.
yeah, fair enough, fair enough. So I wanted to ask you too. So obviously you've done some wrestling with 365. What are some of the other promotions that you've had the chance to work with?
Yeah, I've been I guess a mainstay now with WrestleCore in Vancouver. They operate out of the Rickshaw Theater in Chinatown. There's also Nation Extreme Wrestling, NEW. They're all over the place as well there. I've also been with what else have I been with? Those are kind of like my mainstays right now. As of now, I've also worked with All Star Wrestling a little bit as well, but the main, I guess, the core that I try to stay around would be NEW, WrestleCore, and 365.
That's awesome. Yeah, well, we always love having you here on the island, especially. It's always a great show when you're here. You're an excellent wrestler. You're a large guy too, right? So like you're kind of intimidating. Like when you come out, especially in your black jacket, it's like you're just, whew, yeah. So tell me about the last match you had, which was a couple weeks ago, right? I saw you, and it was at the White Eagle Polish Hall, right?
Yes, yes. That was a match I had against Judas Icarus, and that
Yeah.
is a match I've wanted for quite a while now. I've seen it come up from also part of the Lionsgate Dojo. He's spent a lot of time in there as well. I watched him in ECCW when I was helping out with there as well there. So I've always wanted to be in the ring with him here, just with how he moves here. There's a lot of things that I match up matchup wise with him there. So I was really happy that I could get that match there, and which was awesome to be there. So that's great for me.
That was fantastic. And what was the outcome of that match? Remind me.
And I came on top of that match, just so you know.
Yeah, you did. That was great to see. That was such a enter. Yeah, it was so good, so good. Well deserved, well deserved. Because yeah, Judas Icarus is no joke in the ring. He's an excellent competitor. So you had to work for that, I think.
Yeah, absolutely, I did because you only get so many times to be in the ring with people in BC with how many people are in the scene now. So you're not sure when next time you're gonna be in the ring with them. They could be somewhere else in a year or so. He's doing appearances with TNA now, so you never know.
So true, exactly. And who knows, like that could be what happens to you in the next little while here too. Like you're kind of on fire, so who knows, right? Sky's the limit. Um, so I normally see you wrestling on your own. You tend to be more of a solo competitor. Have you ever had a tag team partner? Would you ever consider having one?
I have not. Well, actually, and this is a company I completely forgot to mention. Silly me. They'll kill me if they ever hear this. In Boom Pro Wrestling, I have a tag team sub with Brady Malibu called the Entourage, and we weren't necessarily the type to be cheered when I came in there about 2 years ago now. But slowly, the crowd there has actually started to warm up to me a little bit there, a little bit. So it's been an interesting experience there, going from being supremely booed to gradually being here there, while my tag partner is still getting booed, but I'm still getting a bulk of cheers now. It's great.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, for sure. And again, totally well deserved. Absolutely. So we are going to probably take a little commercial break right about now, if that's all right with you. But you guys don't go anywhere. We are going to be right back with more Caring About Wrestling and Malik Melo. Don't go anywhere. We're good. How are you? It's going all right so far?
Yeah, yeah. Really. Completely forgot to mention Blue. I was like, they might get annoyed.
We're about 12 minutes in. 15.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Are you ready to rock? Are you rock? Are you ready? Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll?
And we are back. You're watching Caring About Wrestling. I'm Karen the Intern, and my guest this evening is Malik Melo. So here we are, segment 2. I can't believe how fast that first segment went. Time flies when you're having a good
We're having fun. Things go by fast.
Right? So true. Okay, so I've seen some crazy wrestling matches in the last little while with 365, but I'm just curious, like, what's the craziest match you've either seen and or been involved in?
So two-part answer. Then for one I've seen would have to be the ladder match with Inferno and Rad Dad. They were doing stuff that I'd never even thought of doing in a ladder match, those sick SOBs, but that was awesome to watch personally. Definitely didn't feel good, obviously, for them there, but hey, it was definitely one of the best matches I've ever seen, which is awesome there. And in terms of the one that I personally been in here, it would have to be the match with Judas Icarus. But there is a second match there actually happened way back in January, or excuse me, in springtime against Daniel Makabe. And that was one of the last set of matches he had before his retirement. And that was really cool to be a part of for that retirement series that he called there. Didn't came up short, but uh, no sweat off my back there. It was really happy to be a part of that, which definitely looking back, I'm happy it happened.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, those were some crazy matches. Definitely, I was at that ladder match as well with Rat Dad. I've never seen anything like that before in my life. So I was absolutely blown away by all of that. Did you happen to? Were you there the night of violence? Were you at the night of violence?
No, it was not. I was on the mainland.
You know, I got to tell you, personally, that was the craziest thing I've ever seen. And I've referenced it many times on this show for sure, because every time I think about it, I'm like, oh my God, that was the most insane thing I've ever seen. I'm sure you heard about it, but yeah, it was
Of course.
a lot of bodily fluids and broken glass and all sorts of stuff. So have you ever actually watched a death match before?
I have watched a death match. I have not been in the front row of a death match, fortunately, but I've definitely seen a few death matches personally.
How do you feel about them generally?
Um, they have their place. I'm happy that when they're not used frequently, I think there's something to be saved. Definitely, I'm of the mindset of if you have less of them, they mean more. If you were kind of revolve around having death matches, it kind of, I guess, the next one doesn't feel as impactful as the last one. Like that one here with the Night of Violence here, sick night all around here, but we don't have those at 365 every time there, so we definitely bring those out once in a blue moon, so they mean more.
I agree with that 100%. Yeah, you don't want to dilute it too much and people get desensitized to it, I think, a little bit. So you want it to be
Right. Like first thing, like most hardcore stuff that I did, I had a chain match in WrestleCore where we took the ropes off and we put them with chains. We replaced them with chains. We only do that type of match once a year to begin with here. So I happened to be part of it earlier in WrestleCore here against Luchador and Mecha Wolf. Definitely a new experience for me. They're having no ropes instead of chains. That's not something I'm going to be doing every month.
No, no. So okay. So I've never seen a match like that. So tell me again. So you take the ropes off and you put like
Industrial
chains.
chains, yes. Wrapping around there. They have their own bolts, buckles that you connect them to there. And you can actually watch this match right now. It's on IWTV.com. But
Check that out, you guys.
so yes, I took a lot of wicked chair shots in that match. Oh my god. But it is definitely a interesting sight, taking down the ropes and replacing them with chains there. It's very intimidating looking. It also
That was going to be my next question. Like, so getting thrown into the ropes, like the ropes.
chains.
Yeah, I mean, that can't, there's no give there. Like,
No, it's not no give at all. Like the last time I ran the ropes where I had bruises then, and then I had bruises for getting thrown in the chain. So it took me back to my tryout days.
all right. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. So, do you have a finishing move?
I have a few finishing moves.
All right. Do you
Um, well, the one I like to use the most is my top rope elbow drop. I'm a big fan of that move in general. I got inspired by both Randy Savage and Shawn Michaels, who they're most known for their elbow drops. So I definitely wanted to have one myself. Kairi Sane as well in WWE. So I really like their elbow drops. Those three are like held to like a different standard. So I want to have that as my inspiration for my elbow drop. And then I've experimented with other finishing moves as well. I've had a spinning power bomb. I've had a Michinoku driver as my finishing move. So I go into a venue feeling what do I feel like doing today? I'm very flexible with my moves.
Well, that's good. That's good that you have a multitude of ways you can end your opponent. Whatever the situation calls for. That's all.
Right. And everything, as you mentioned there, because yes, I am a larger guy. I am around 270 pounds, so you don't expect someone like me to be going off the top rope here. I just feeling like doing it because I'm a sick individual, but that's just me.
Well, and it is pretty crazy because especially the White Eagle Polish Hall, which I think you did that move that night, right? Yeah, I mean, you were like this far from the roof. Like I felt like I thought you had no room to jump whatsoever, but still you managed. It was very impressive.
Which is something that I like to plan out ahead of time because every venue is going to be different. So when you walk into a venue at first, you have to check how high the ceiling is, how high the ropes are, what quality of the ropes are. So am I going to be able to do it tonight? I've been in venues where the ceiling is so low, I'm just looking at it like, yeah, not tonight. I think I have to do something else.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, unless that becomes part of the act where you bash your head through the ceiling, because some people
Too much excess damage to the noggin. I'm trying to protect this here.
Do not recommend. Do not
Yeah.
recommend. Yeah. And what about entrance music? What's the music that you come into?
Lately, I have been using "John" by Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
Is different take on another song by Rick Ross called I'm Not a Star," which very similar. They work with each other constantly there. Um, a vibe with that theme there. It's not a theme you would hear with other wrestlers. It's very different, I would say. But I think it makes me unique personally. That's I have like a certain like vibe I portray throughout my entrance. It's not super hardcore. It's not a lot of hip hop, but it's kind of a mix of both. So I try to bring that into my character essentially.
I love that. I love that. Music is such a big part of wrestling, right?
Right.
And everybody that I talk to, they're connected to that entrance music. Like they're very, connected to that piece of music, whatever it is. And some people never change it. Like Devin Shooter has had that song forever. Other people like to change it up a little bit, but yeah, I love that. I love that music is such a big part of it, right? Because it just gets the energy exactly where it needs to be, right?
And it's a first impression, like whether it's a new venue or it's people in a reoccurring venue, it's a first impression. So
Yeah.
you only get that one that night anyway. So it's very music is very big for me personally, like how I present myself, how it makes Malik in general. But again, it's a first impression.
Yeah, I agree. That's such a good point. That's such a good point. All right, so I have to ask you, have you ever suffered any significant injuries as a wrestler?
No, I have not.
Whoa. Whoa, you are by far, I think you're the only one I've ever met. That's amazing. And so, what do you attribute that luck to? Is it purely luck or is there something other than it?
I do. I would hope not. It's not a lot of luck. Like the most I've had is like some bruising on my quads or if anything here. Like the bulk of my injuries happen like outside of wrestling before wrestling, and even then, like I've had some rolled ankles from basketball. Like that's about it. I do a lot of stretching. I do a lot of um, stay hydrated a lot there. If anything, I just take care of myself in and out of the ring the most. I'm in the gym a lot. One thing I do though is as part of my preparation, when I get into the ring there, if I don't have my boots on just yet, I'll walk around the ring just to see like how the ring feels tonight, how the ropes feel. Are the ropes a little bit more loose tonight? If they're a bit more firm, if there's any extra, I guess, divots in the mat there that I need to keep an eye on when my match later in the evening there. I'll go to the top rope there, see how I feel that day. If I feel a bit more loose, if I feel a bit more tight, I'll stretch a bit more. So a lot of the preparation that goes into things there. But other than that, there's I guess a little bit of luck there with injuries.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think all those things are good, especially like if you're very conscious of your body and very self-aware of your body and how it moves and all that kind of stuff. And I think too, like if you don't bend, you break, right? So I think a measure of flexibility is super important and all that good stuff. So, well, I definitely, I don't want to jinx it, but let's just leave it at that. Okay.
That might be something in the next show.
Are you going to be at the 23rd at White Eagle Polish Hall?
23rd, yes, I will.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'm going to be there too. It'll be great to see you that night for sure.
Oh,
Okay. So, who has the hardest chop in 365?
me.
You do. That's a good answer. That's a great answer. If anybody besides you,
Still me.
still you.
Still me.
That's pretty sweet. Okay, so who has the best in-ring attire in 365 besides you?
I'm gonna say still me again, but wow. I am a fan of. I can't say me. I would have to say either Judas Icarus. I love his trunks there, or Laxadartha.
Right? He's
The
got it
body,
going on.
the body paint, the long pants there, like it's the war cape, the war paint, like the music there, like it's very like you won't see that really in wrestling these days. There's not a whole lot of body paint in general anymore there, but it's definitely it's a throwback, so it's always cool to see.
I love it, and it's only mildly terrifying. Um, all right, so we're going to take another quick little commercial break here, you guys. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back with more Caring About Wrestling and Malik Melo.
So we have about 12 minutes left. We'll see if we've got a 12 minutes left.
12 to 4. 12.
Yeah, we have a lot of stuff. That'll get us to 39. So that's good. Lots of time.
Lots of time. Love it.
Having fun.
What's that?
Having fun.
Oh, me too.
All right.
Are you
That's
ready to
this.
rock?
10
Are you
minutes.
ready to roll?
Bye.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll?
And we are back. You're watching Caring About Wrestling on the 365 Pro Wrestling YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. We'd really love that. My guest this evening is Malik Melo. So we have had a chat about wrestling for the last couple segments. So how do you feel about letting the folks get to know you on a little bit more of a personal level?
Well, what would you like to know?
Well, what I would like to know is, first and foremost, what do you do when you are not wrestling? I know wrestling is all consuming, but when you're not wrestling, what are you up to?
Well, I'm in the gym quite a bit. I try to be in the gym at least 5 days a week there, even on show days. Start my day off in the gym there, or if in the evening, if I'm at the Lionsgate Dojo again there, I'll try to get a workout in afterwards as well there. Try to stay as physically active as much as possible. If not, if I'm at home, really big on anime. I'm watching a lot of anime right now there. There. I don't know how many fans here watch anime personally here, but I like One Piece, I like a lot of My Hero Academia, Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm not sure if you know any of these. If not, that's cool.
I'll make suggestions though, because I always want to know what to watch. And anime is something that I haven't really delved that far into. And personally, it's because I sort of feel like if I go there, I'm not going to be able to get myself back out of it. Like, it's going to be all consuming.
Well, it can be consumed, but there's something for everyone. Like whether if there's action, if there's horror, there's romance, comedy, mech robots. Like there's a lot of sports. Like there's a lot of things that they cover. So there's a lot of things there. I play video games a lot as well there. I'm currently playing Monster Hunter World still. Eats a lot of time there. I was playing Horizon, Forbidden West. What
So
else?
what kind of games are those? What kind of games are they like?
So Monster Hunter is it's a role playing game. It is an action game as well. There, it's you hunt giant monsters. You start there. It's very. I wouldn't say. It is like a high fantasy type of game, but it's not like Victorian. It's not so much Game of Thrones ish. It's a lot more fantasy as well. There, like once you hunt these monsters, you can then take pieces of their bodies to craft new armor. So you have this big the kits of armor and swords and lances and axes. Like it's really cool. I have put in many hours, maybe a few years playing that game there.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, I never really got really much into playing myself, but I used to love watching people play video games. You know what I
Oh.
mean? Like that was highly entertaining for me. Well, I guess that's a whole thing. That's a whole genre.
It
of
is
thing.
the whole genre. It's a whole genre. It's something you can do competitively as well, like things like Overwatch or League of Legends. Like those have entire leagues. Like it's people that can watch online on Twitch. So it's its own medium.
So crazy, hey? Like who would have thought? Not me,
Oh.
that's for because I'm yeah. Okay, so let's talk about something completely different now. Do you believe in ghosts? We just had Halloween, so
Yes.
you do believe in ghosts. Okay. Or
Oh. I go back and forth on me. Like me, I sometimes I have, sometimes I don't. I'm not sure personally. I think I believe in aliens more than I do ghosts.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm more in that some sort of realm. Like I believe in mermaids. I think there's a whole other bit of life under the sea because we haven't really um explored all of it, and I don't think we ever will be able to. So we don't know for sure. Just like how they're in space. So I definitely think there's life on other planets. I would kind of be disappointing if we're the only life on a planet. So
Yeah, I agree with you there. It's like the universe is so vast. Like statistically, there's life
right.
where, right?
Right, and there's so many like TV and film and video games as well that explore that as well. There, so like they would have to. I don't want to say that it's the only thing that we can rely on, but surely like there has to be something out there.
So what do you think of like the whole like ancient aliens stuff, like that they helped us build the pyramids, or Atlantis is somehow related, or all these like ancient technologies that these people should have had no way of doing, like Stonehenge. Do you think that's related to aliens in any way?
So that's a good question. I thought about that as well there because as you mentioned that things like that shouldn't really exist. I think they're called an like an out of place part. Things like that, Stonehenge or the Nazca lines as well. There, like you wouldn't necessarily have the ability to make schematics like that to draw something like that. So that's always something that I've gone in my head about in 3 a.m. in the morning a few times. So
Anybody else? What about alien abductions? Do you think that's happening?
abductions. I'm not sure personally here, but I wouldn't be surprised if it has happened.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's fascinating. I don't count anything out. Like I consider myself a skeptic, but I don't count out any possibility. You know what I mean? Like I think
Right.
those things are all possible. I'm just waiting for the evidence of it. Like show me the evidence and I'll believe, right? I guess I feel the same way about ghosts too. So have you ever had any kind of like a what you would consider like a paranormal experience?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head, but I've definitely gone on that rabbit hole of seeing if they do exist there. So again, I won't rule anything out personally, but I don't have any experiences of them personally.
Would you be willing to like go on a paranormal investigation or spend the night in a reportedly haunted house?
Spend the night, maybe not, because I like my bed personally here, but
That's the only reason, right?
right. I'm down to spend a few hours in, if anything, here, but who knows?
Cool. Yeah. It's one of my lifelong dreams to be in a paranormal investigation because again, like I'm a skeptic, so I'm curious about it. And so maybe if I round that up, we'll give you a call if you're interested and you can come and hang out for a few hours and talk to some ghosts, maybe.
Yeah. Well, here.
Maybe, I don't know. So you mentioned a little bit about music when we were talking about your entrance music in the last segment. So, and you said kind of music has like a really big part. So, other than wrestling, how does music play a part in your life?
I'm always listening to music. I'm outside, I have my headphones in, and I'm always listening to all different types of music, whether that be rock music, rap music, hip hop, R&B, house music as well. There, so I always have something different going on. Like, I've just been listening to Tyler the Creator's newest album, Chromacopia. Love it. I think you can't miss with his albums. I've also been listening to Doechii, a woman rapper. She just had an album called Alligator Bites Don't Heal, also awesome as well there. Victoria Monet had an album. Jasmine Sullivan had an album. So all different types of music I've been listening to here as of late. But I always have my headphones in.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, I'm a big music lover myself. I think it's weird if somebody was like, "Nah, I don't really like music." Like, could you imagine meeting such a
You
person?
can't trust them.
I would think
Can't.
so.
You don't have any. You don't have any playlists at all. Like nothing. Like from you. Not even like music from TV or film, video games. You don't have any music at all. I couldn't trust that person.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah. Okay, so We have a lot of these questions I ask a lot of my guests, but this one in particular is it's a fan favorite. So we would like to know what your favorite dinosaur is and why.
So I was gonna say the pterodactyl, but apparently it's not really a dinosaur.
Oh,
I, that's no news to me there. So I might be wrong on that here, but if it's not, I have to think of another dinosaur. So I might go the basic answer and say T-Rex.
T-Rex is always a good choice. Always a good choice. Very large, very
I
bitey.
like the winged dinosaur, so I thought the pterodactyl was one. I would have said that, but apparently it's not really close to that. But it's more so um, in the bird family, but not so much dinosaur. I guess I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it's like telling us that Pluto's not a planet. I'm like, no, it is. It's always been a planet. What are you talking
One
about?
planet, not 10. It was a planet. I'm not anymore.
But also, dinosaurs are birds, right? Like they evolved into some birds. So I guess by definition, it's like a branch of dinosaur evolution that created the
Okay.
winged dinosaur. So I don't know.
Right. Sure.
Yeah, I think you can go with pterodactyl. I'm gonna say the judges. We're going with
What does the survey say? What does the survey say?
the judges say pterodactyl is an acceptable answer. So we love that. Okay, so movies. So you said you love anime. We did just have Halloween, like I mentioned. Do you like to watch scary movies?
Yeah, every now and then, even like scary movies, Halloween-based funny movies. I just watched Beetlejuice 2 a couple weeks ago. I thought that was pretty good as well there.
Yeah.
It was great. I might have should have watched the first one beforehand just to catch myself up on the story here, but I still had a good time in it.
Nice, nice. So you have never watched the first one, or you just haven't seen it in a long time?
I did. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Yeah, the first one's pretty epic, so you should definitely check that out for sure. And then we'll talk about it at the next show, and you can let me know what you thought of the original movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so do you have any pets?
I don't currently. I did have two birds growing up. I had two budgie birds, one green and one blue. I don't have them currently, unfortunately, here, but I do fancy myself being a dog person.
A dog person? Yeah. So if you could have any kind of dog, what kind of breed of dog do you think you'd go for?
Oh goodness. I have like 10 different answers. Yeah, right. A retriever, a Rottweiler, German Shepherd, Husky. Those are probably like my top five.
Nice. So bigger dogs.
Yeah, bigger dogs, or even like a small one, like a Shiba Inu is cool, but I'm sure it's a lot of work.
Yeah. And also, like, I would be so worried that I'd accidentally like crush it or step on it in some way or throw it out a window accidentally. I don't know. I don't know where that came from.
What have you been doing?
No, not throwing dogs out windows. Never that. Um, okay, so believe it or not, we're actually right down to the end of our interview here. But if you can stick around for a few more minutes, I'd like to do a lightning round of questions with you. How do you feel about that?
I got time. Let's do it.
Okay, all right. So here we go. Star Trek or Star Wars?
Star Wars.
Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yes.
Frozen yogurt or ice cream?
Ice cream.
Potato salad or coleslaw?
Coleslaw.
Favorite candy?
Brand or
Yes. Any?
Skittle.
Yes. Okay. Love that. Macho Man, Hulk, or Ultimate Warrior?
Macho Man, easy.
Yes. Everybody says Macho Man. Favorite band?
Lincoln Park and Wu-Tang Clan.
Love that. Best place to get a hamburger on Vancouver Island?
I actually haven't done a whole ton of traveling, so I'm not sure.
You're not sure? Okay, that's totally fair. Where's the best place to get a hamburger in your neck of the woods?
there's not a whole lot of burger spots in my area. I tend to go to there's a Donair spot that's awesome, just down the block from my house there here, called Donair Affair, which they know me at this point with how many times I'm in there. But
I love that. I love me a good donair. King Kong or Godzilla?
um, King Kong.
There's no wrong answers. What's your favorite YouTube channel?
YouTube channel. Uh, that's a million, dude. He is a fighting game YouTube channel here. He does a lot of fighting games, a lot of shooting games, a lot of content as well there. But he's been one of my, I guess, longest watched YouTubers.
Excellent. And what's your favorite part of this interview?
Talking with you, Karen, and going about horror, paranormal activity.
Yes, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Malik, for being my guest this evening. It's been such a pleasure to chat with you. I can't wait to see you. So that's it. You guys, that's another edition of Caring About Wrestling. Thanks, Malik. Bye.
Good.